Okay, welcome back to the KM6LYW backyard on this spring day. I just thought I'd do a quickie here, just operating outside because the weather's so nice. In fact, I've got the Yaesu 991 here and operating on solar panel, if you can see that. Using one of these cool lithium batteries. In fact, check out KM4ACK did a kind of a special on these. They're really reasonable and effective. So check out Jason's channel. A great battery. A sunny day with a 30-watt panel keeps me rolling most of the time. And it never occurred to me that we talk about the DigiPi all the time. You don't really need to build a DigiPi if you have a regular Raspberry Pi, right? You can just if you have a USB jack in the back of your radio that does cat control and audio, right? So the DigiPi build is really for radios that maybe need a push-to-talk circuit, line in, line out. But if you've got a USB jack on the back of your radio, like a FT991 or maybe a ICOM 7300, you really don't need to build the audio card, the push-to-talk circuit, and all that. And I don't think I emphasize that enough. So on the side of this guy, it's just a regular Raspberry Pi, and he's connected via USB cable. Kind of wrapped it around for convenience here. And he's just simply plugged into the back of this Yaesu FT991. And you can do the exact same thing on like a Yaesu FT7300 for that matter. So this is an all-mode radio, so we can do like VHF packet, not just HF stuff. And you notice what you want to do if you have this kind of radio is to make sure you got the settings correctly first of all, right? So, of course, make sure you're on a VHF band. And I'm going to set it to 145.825. You guys probably recognize that frequency and know what I'm about to do. And also, and this one really trips up a lot of people, make sure your radio is on data mode, whatever that happens to be. Normally it would be on FM, right, and just be making a bunch of noise. So let's turn it on to data FM. That means all of the audio is going to go in and out of that USB cable we just talked about up there and get into your Raspberry Pi. Another feature is to go ahead and disable your squelch. Set my squelch to 0. That way you can pick up really faint AX.25 traffic or 1200 baud modem traffic. Turn the volume down, otherwise it sounds like this the whole time. So I'm just going to turn the volume down since we don't need it. The Raspberry Pi is listening, and that's really the important thing. So here I am in 145.825. And I've got APRS Droid installed on this Android device. And let's see, I'm going to do a quick clear. And I'm going to make sure in my preferences, my APRS DigiPath is set to ARISS. Because the space station, if we look on ISS tracker, is actually overhead right now. So I'm going to go ahead and send a packet. Let's see, it's crossing over California right now. So now's a good time to go ahead and send a packet. So let me go back to APRS Droid. My DigiPath is ARISS, which means the space station will go ahead and repeat me. Normally this would be set to wide 1-1, and don't forget to set it back. All right, looks good. So now I'm going to send a beacon and see what happens. It looks like there's traffic already coming down. You can see there's a beacon from NA1SS. Change the 1 to an I. That's the space station. So the space station's beaconing, so I know I'm receiving. I'm just going to do a quick send position. And I might have gotten stopped here. So I'm the green line there that says Cool, California, and I'm waiting for NA1SS to repeat me. It doesn't look like it did. I'm going to wait a second. There's plenty of traffic today. I'm going to send another beacon. So I've got a omnidirectional roll-up J-pole hanging in a tree here. I'll have to show you it. And so it's not really pointing at the space station in any way. A lot of times if the space station is low on the horizon, you can get better access to it. So let me send another beacon. And I sent another one. Radio's turning, the transmit light's coming on. It's beaconing. Boy, and it didn't come back. So it doesn't mean it didn't hear me. It just means it didn't repeat me. What's probably happening is it's a huge traffic jam up there. Let me send another one. Additionally, I'll encourage you to not, just pound this thing. Otherwise, no one gets to play, right? And this time you can see I did get a packet through. This line right here, KM6LYW in Cool, California, was repeated via NA1SS. I don't know if that shows that here. It's just showing my station info. But on that line, the top line as it is right now, you'll notice it says APDR15NA1SS, and there's an asterisk next to it. That asterisk means that repeater was actually used to repeat this packet. So we did get through to the International Space Station. We're seeing traffic from other people here in blue, which is great. It means everyone's talking on the space station. And just for extra credit here, you can usually go out to, if it's updating, it may or may not be, you can go to ariss.net, and hopefully if it's updating fast enough, we will see our call sign and our position, and you'll notice, hey, look, there's KM6LYW. And so this website is basically all amateur radio stations heard via the ISS, right? We see that up there. And of course, you can go down in the list here and see your call sign. Yeah, we're seeing ourselves right here. So we made it through to the International Space Station and back. We got recorded on ARISS, which meant we were heard. What I like to do is look up my call sign. So let's do find in page KM6LYW. And if we go down, we'll see ourselves often in the traffic down here. This is just kind of the raw APRS activity. Now, you know what? This iGate isn't on the internet right now, but normally you would see this DigiPi, effectively running DigiPi software. It would be gating this traffic to the internet, and you'll see yourself in the repeater listing as things that gated this to the internet. But yeah, I don't think this Pi is on the internet. So that Raspberry Pi you just looked at is in fact running the DigiPi software, but it doesn't have to really be built, with the audio board. So this is just a plain old Raspberry Pi, and you can get away with using just this by itself if your radio has that USB jack for cat control and all the audio signals. And it's actually best to do it that way because the audio signals have no emphasis, right? They have no roll off for the highs or the treble, and you're really getting the raw tone right out of the discriminator, which is what you want. And so as you can see, if we go over to I'm connected to the DigiPi. It's actually an APRS digipeater mode, which is also TNC mode. And you'll also notice the rig control daemon is active, and that rig control needs to be configured to drive the radio's like frequency changing, push to talk. Rig control will do that all over the USB cable. So Direwolf, which is what's doing the sound modem stuff, is using rig control to actually control the radio. In fact, let me just put it in TNC mode while we're here. And that'll usually disconnect APRS IS or Droid, but that's okay. Takes a second. We're waiting for it to go into TNC mode rather than digipeater mode. There it goes. And we'll go back to APRS Droid. You notice it's erroring out, and that's because we went out of APRS Digi mode and restarted Direwolf into TNC mode, where it's not going to be repeating. So it looks like we got a lot of traffic here. The space station is setting right now. There's a lot of usual suspects out here. Some of these guys are automated, and yeah, you can get a QSO through them, but it's kind of, I don't know, for me it's more fun to talk to a real person. Yeah, we got a few beacons from the space station. All of this blue stuff is the space station repeating stuff, and the green stuff is us transmitting. And it looks like it's set now, so we're not getting any new traffic. So that was a demonstration of using the DigiPi software on just a Raspberry Pi Zero, using this Yaesu radio that has a USB port on the back. So this has been a kind of a quickie. It was supposed to be a quickie. We just contacted the International Space Station using the DigiPi software. Go ahead and see my other videos on how to build that and how to download the software. I'd also really like to thank my patrons who get early access to the DigiPi builds. In fact, right now it's just a beta build that's out there right now for the software on that Pi that's doing all of this behind the scenes. So if you want to get that software, just kick me $1 or something on Patreon, and I'll help you get it installed. I'm not giving it to everyone yet because of the support load. Honestly, it raises, everyone who installs it, always has a bunch of questions. So I'm kind of trying to spread that out a little bit by making it accessible for early access to Patreons. And again, see my other videos on how to get that software image for that Raspberry Pi. Okay, this has been another KM6LYW radio quickie from the KM6LYW backyard. Thanks a bunch, guys.